Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Grieving Sisters. I'm Jessica. And we have a special guest. Finally, we have Annette here from Good Grieve. And then she also has her own. She's the founder of the Grieve Camaraderie.
Yes, thank you.
How exciting.
I'm so excited to be here with you guys.
Oh, my gosh. We've been dying for this. I've been dying for this because just your energy alone on social media is so impactful. Like the things that she posts, it's like, and then everything that you're doing just overall with grief, I feel is just, you know, from children to adults, just everything that you're doing is so I'm actually looking forward to see what the Grieve Camaraderie like turns into.
Yes, me too. Actually, now that you say that, it was actually born of, this, especially from my culture, where like, oh, that's my comadre. Or like it's almost this like this sisterhood.
Yeah.
And I felt like that's what I want. I want to give out that vibe. Like it's a sisterhood. You can come to me.
Sasson is sadness.
Yes,
I mean, how fabulous is that? That is fabulous. Thanks, Marv. That was fabulous.
Yeah. I really wanted to tie in my culture because I feel like as a Latina, we don't really, we're the strong ones always. And I still am. I consider myself a very strong Latina.
Sure.
But there are moments where, I want to cry, and I'm crying over, my caldero with my sazón and my rice and all of that.
All the good
that's
stuff.
Where that was born of. I was like, oh, I really want something that's going to hit home, not just grief in general, but to my people as well.
Sure. I think, so we haven't been here in some time. So like me and Liz are like, girl,
where are we?
What's going on? It's because we record in real time, we actually record, back-to-back episodes. So we, sometimes we just take a break, and we're like, okay, well, we're going to enjoy the summer. She was like, girl, you tan. I said,
we have so much pre-recorded.
And we have so much pre-recorded.
That's great.
Like again, right? Real time, we're in July.
Yeah,
like we have so much pre-recorded, but, it's also, I don't know. I just feel like, and then like we bumped up some episodes and things like that. So
yeah, men's mental health we bumped up.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
The breath work. Yeah. The breath work we bumped up. So we have, Motherhood is out right now. Grief and Motherhood is out.
And then, really
who is the, I think we have Anita coming up next, which she's, the awakened, grief, coach.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
It was really cool. She's like a spiritual coach. So
I definitely.
So she was really good. But I'll save that.
Yeah.
But let's get into you.
Yes.
So the title of this episode is Little Hearts, Big Feelings: How Children Grieve at Every Stage, and some of the myths that's with that.
Yes.
And I just thought that when you brought that up, I was just like, this is so important because we don't know how children grieve.
Right.
We just don't know.
Not only that, I feel like sometimes we think that they don't grieve, right?
Right.
Because they do it so differently in all their different stages. And because of my work with Good Grief, our mission really is with kids, right?
Yes.
I mean, we do have our education department where we go, and that's where I'm, what I'm a part of, where we go and we go to different schools and we train school counselors and things like that. But we always get this, but kids, they're not really grieving. And I'm like, yeah, they are. They don't do it in the same way that we do.
I was going to say, like, how does it differ from adults?
So I always get the question, when I always get this question, I always think about babies, right? Babies, when they feel that scent of mama or whoever's taking care of them, and mom's not there or whomever's taking care of them, right? What do we usually do? Give me something that smells like mom, right? So they can stop crying. I know when I had my kids, my husband would always be like, leave that shirt there. And when you're leaving, and how long is this night going to last? And it's like, how long are you going to be at Target before she falls apart? But they might not have the vocabulary to say it, right? But they're definitely grieving.
Yeah.
They definitely know when someone's
their
not
emotions.
There. They definitely know.
Yeah.
So a baby, you would see, crying, some regression with sleep, things of that nature. When you're moving a little bit older, and it's funny because driving down here, I was talking to my son about it.
Right.
When you're going a little bit older, You have the toddlers, who are my absolute favorite. I was letting you know.
I'm like,
I
toddler life is not for the weak.
It is not. Is you have to be very strong. They will tell you the truth, even if it hurts.
They rat each other.
They rat you out.
Yup.
You could be like, oh, no, don't tell Mama I did this. Mama, you know what happened? And you're like,
what
really?
happened was,
I thought we were like,
yeah,
but no, we're not close. But 2 to 4-year-olds, you'll get a lot of questioning, right? Like, where's so-and-so? What happened?
I get it with my daughter. She's like, where's Grandpa? That's Grandpa's phone. Oh, Grandpa's in heaven. Can I talk to him? Can I call him? And then she'll walk over.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, she's very receptive, like when it comes to that. So she'll see his phone there, and then she'll see my Sean's phone there, and she's like, oh, Uncle Sean, Uncle Sean's phone. Oh, can I call him? I want to call him. And she's like, call him here. And like, she's like, here. And I'm like, well, no, they're in heaven right now. Oh, okay. Papa, Grandpa's in heaven? I said, yeah, Grandpa's in heaven.
Yeah,
So,
and they know.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we talk a lot about in Good Grief when we're with the families and they're kind of like, hey, I don't know what to do.
Sure.
We're like, well, do what makes you feel comfortable, right? That's first and foremost.
Yeah.
I never want to tell somebody like, oh, sit down and have these like long conversations. But when a child comes to you and is like, hey, so-and-so, you can say they're in heaven if that's your spiritual belief. But at Good Grief, we like to use very concrete words, right? Like they're no longer here. Yes, you can talk to them. There's a picture, that's where that continuing bonds comes from. We have a family at Good Grief that was, I can't really recall what had happened, but whenever they wanted to talk about it, right, that it was really hard for their dad. And he's like, I can't keep repeating this because it kills me. Understandably so, right? That's the love of your life, the mother of your kids. So he had a picture and a bell. And whenever one of them wanted to talk about mom, they would go to that picture and they would ring the bell and they would all come together and talk about mom.
That is so,
and I
what
think
a great
that's
way.
so beautiful to continue that bond, but to also give that dad that minute to collect himself, right? Because no matter what we say, like you can cry in front of your kids, when we're in the moment, a lot of us don't do that.
Yeah.
We're like, I have to be strong. I have to continue. So what a beautiful way to not only for him to get in touch with his feelings and be able to express what their mom meant to him, but for them to also like ask questions, because one of the kids was very, very young and doesn't have memories of mom at all.
Right.
So it's like, oh, here's when mom was pregnant with you, and here, and it's beautiful. I think it's absolutely beautiful.
Well, and then just to let our audience know too that we did have Annette on, and we actually just aired you like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
But she is with Good Grief. We talked about Good Grief and everything.
Oh yes, I should have introduced my organization. I'm so sorry, Good Grief.
No, all good.
So I work for an organization called Good Grief, where we build resiliency in children and the community as a whole. And we have 2 centers, one in Morristown and one in Princeton, New Jersey, where children, as long as they're potty trained, they can come to our centers and be with other kids that are like them.
Right.
They don't have to be the odd one out. In school sometimes, no one wants to be like the grieving kid, right? But when they come to us, they're not just a grieving, right? So they come in, we serve them dinner because that's one less thing that they have to worry about. We have greeters who are volunteers. Shout out to our volunteers, because we would not be able to do what we do without our volunteers. And these are people who want to do this work, right? They take a facilitator training. They want to do this work, and I think it's amazing. So they come to us, and they are separated by age, developmental stage, and they have trained facilitators that help them process what they're going through, and process mainly through play, especially with the younger ones.
Kids are through play.
Yeah, and we do tons of, like I said earlier, concrete words. Dead, died, buried. When I say that, a lot of people are like, oh. And I understand, but please know that if a child comes to us and is like, Daddy's in heaven, we're not like, no, Dad is dead.
Right.
We follow their lead, but we don't,
you guys
us
don't use.
Personally, we use very concrete words.
Yes.
And we also say person who died, because we don't want to assume any relationship whatsoever, because not so nice people die too, right? And we don't know if their relationship was a good one, was a bad one, you know? You don't want to come in and be like, I'm so sorry your dad died. And they're like, I'm not. And you're like,
yeah. You don't know, like, if there was, like, the
you don't know what to do with yourself. You're kind of like, oh, you know?
Yeah, put you in, like, a weird situation.
Yeah, so we always say person who died. Again, if they say mom, dad, we're like, oh, your mom or your dad.
Right.
Yeah, so we do that. So apologies that I didn't.
No, that's okay, because I'm the one that jumped right in. I was like, I'm
Please
so
don't fire
fascinated.
me.
We're so excited that you're here.
Yes. Well, because we just got, like, I think in the episode that we just kind of just really got along so well. The chemistry was there. Yeah, the chemistry was there, and I just think it was just so intense, and it was so helpful to so many people. And they reached out to me, and they were like,
so glad.
and they reached out to you guys, to Liz too, and they were just like, this was so informative, like, you know, so you gave so much information. So that's why I kind of like jump right in, because I'm like, how much more do you got in there, girl? You got more
tons of stuff in here.
I love that.
Just don't ask me about sewing or anything.
No, I love sewing.
Really bad at that.
I love it.
I'm bad.
I love hand
So
sewing.
and I call myself the plant whisperer, because plants come to me to make their exit. Because I have,
make their exit.
You have a green thumb. I do not have a green thumb. My thumb is gray.
My grandmother used to call me Mata Planta.
Yes.
Like, all you do is kill plants.
Yes.
Like,
I started to do better. My mom's like, you have such a green thumb. I said, no, that's a lie. These are just plants that can survive.
Well, listen, I killed a cactus. I'm not even gonna lie.
No,
I don't know what happened. And I was so distraught. I was like, how do I? It's a cactus. Like, you can't. But I killed it, but I do love flowers and plants. I just kill them. I try so hard. You know, folks see me around the garden and they're like, what do you know?
Don't even go there. Go over there.
Let's get her away from that. But not for lack of trying. But anyway, I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. Can you tell us some of the common misconceptions?
With children and
with like children, like adults have with children grieving.
Yes. So one of the biggest misconceptions that they have is that they don't, and they do. The other misconception is that they feel that if they're talking about it, they're somehow traumatizing them.
Like they're making it worse.
They're making it worse.
Like they're afraid to trigger the children.
And, think about it. Let's say if someone lost, their mom, right? Their mom has died. There is nothing. You both have lost someone very dear to you, right? There's nothing that anyone can say to you or do to you that is going to hurt like that.
No, never.
Never.
I've said that to you. Didn't I say that to you?
So
I was
you just take that off. Yeah, nothing. No. And I always tell folks, you can just take that off your shoulders. There's no stress. But if a child comes to you and is like, what happened, right? You tell them what happened in a way that they understand that is developmentally appropriate, right? You're not going to grab a 2-year-old and be like, sit right here, let me tell you what happened. Well, first we did this. No, you're going to be like, they're not here. You tell them that they're in heaven. Okay. Do you want to talk to them?
Yeah. No, my mom is the one that actually planted that seed. Yeah. So I was like, all right, I got to go with the flow. When she gets a little older, you just explain.
But actually at Good Grief, we have something that's called a win phone.
Oh.
And our kids can go in there and talk to their person on the phone. They close the door and there's a phone there and they can bring pictures. And, sometimes you have kids going in there to be like, oh, I made the team or this happened. And
so beautiful.
It's beautiful to be able to let that out and be able to say that, I spoke to them, right? It's all about continuing that bond and bringing these people forward with you. It's a different relationship altogether. So I would say those are the two biggest misconceptions that folks have. Another one that I notice is that if children are playing and having a good time, and then they come to you and they're sad, and then they go right back to play, that's normal. And that's perfectly fine. Some people will be like, well, she was playing like 5 minutes ago. She's not grieving. And it's like, you go to work, right? And you're able to do things. And it's the same thing. I always tell folks, kids are like us, just smaller, right?
Yeah.
A little tiny.
They're just so resilient. And I think that's something that we talked about too, how resilient children are.
Absolutely. I also find that with having 3 kids myself, I know that there's some tough conversations that I don't particularly am like, all right, we're going to have this. Especially when it's surrounded by, death or grief or something like that, because the way I was raised is, you don't talk about it.
That's right.
You don't ask about it. And if you ask about it, you're going to get in trouble because I already told you not to talk about it.
Right.
So sometimes that kind of seeps in, you know.
Right.
And there's moments where, you know, I'll be crying because I'll be missing my aunt or I'll be missing my uncle. And, you know, my kids are like really slow, like peeping around the corner. And I'm like, it's okay, mommy's crying. I'm sad.
Right.
Like,
right.
I'm sad. I find the best way to talk to kids is when you're either in the car. I've had the best conversations with my kids in the car.
Because they're stuck. They can't go anywhere.
I always say that to my son. I'm like, I lock the doors. Tell me about your life.
You
And
can't
he's
tuck
like,
and roll.
oh, God.
Is he ready to tuck and roll? He's like, Ma!
You know, I wouldn't put it past him. So I hit that gas really fast. I'm like, you're going to talk to me. You're going to tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's just something, you know, you're driving. They're looking out the window. There's no distractions. Best conversation. And then the best thing, too, is that they're not looking at you eyeball to eyeball. So it's not as intimidating.
Sure.
So if they have questions, you know, I've had my kids drop gigantic bombs on me in the car, you know, and I'm like, trying to maintain. Like, I go, can you just give me a second while I, you know, I gotta think
Even
about
one
it.
with like a little tate quieto.
No,
Like,
I don't even do that. I tell them that. I'm like, you know, Abby would have been like, hey, because they call my mom Abby, and they're like, yeah, but you're not Abby. I'm like, I'm my mother's daughter. I don't know. And another way that I find that is really easy to speak with them, especially my middle child who turned 11 on Saturday. Happy birthday, Dalila. I find that with her, she likes to write to me. So sometimes she'll write something in her phone and text it to me right before she goes to sleep and is like, check your phone, but don't talk to me until tomorrow.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay,
I actually like that. She's like, I'm going to communicate, sleep on it.
Yes.
And then we'll talk in the morning.
Yes. And she also does this thing called pillow talk, where she'll write to me.
Okay.
And she'll put it under my pillow.
Oh.
And then she'll go to bed, and then I'll look at it and write back to her and put it under her pillow.
I love that.
Because it just takes the embarrassment away. I don't know.
The edge.
The edge. So
It's so interesting how they're like afraid to tell us stuff or say things at times when we want nothing more but for them to open up.
Yes.
I think they just don't want to be judged.
No, I don't think
they don't want to be judged, or they don't want to hear I told you so. You know, I'm going through this with a couple of clients. I told you so, and this, that, and the other. And it's like, you know, you are the parent at the end of the day, right? Yeah. And you want to guide them the right direction.
For sure.
But they just want a platform to talk.
Well, I've learned through, you know, with my son, you know, he was very honest with me, and he's like, I don't want your opinion right now.
Yeah.
And I was like,
right. Like, they don't want to hear,
how dare you?
Oh, I did this when I was 15. No. They don't want to hear that. They don't care what you did at 15. They couldn't care less what you did at 15. Yeah. As a matter of fact, they're going to hold that over your head.
Yeah.
When
you did it too.
Right. They're going to come back and use that against you. So it's like, you know, you want them to be as open. But especially when it comes to grief, I feel like that's also just very, like pressuring them. Like, okay, do you want to talk about it? Like, is there anything that you want to say? You know, so I don't know. I just think it's so hard.
It is. It's very hard, but letting them lead is very important. Letting them take the lead, letting them come to you when they want to talk to you, not shutting them down. You know, like if you're feeling extremely overwhelmed in that moment, because that happens to me sometimes, and I want to just mourn who I'm mourning, I'm very honest with them, and I say, you know, I can't right now, but give me a little bit, and I promise we'll come back to this.
Right.
But following their lead is extremely important. I think that especially with the kids that come to us at Good Grief, they do such a good job at I always say telling us about ourselves, but they do such a good job at letting us know what they need.
Right.
You know, that we don't even, especially our teens and high schoolers.
Sure.
Like those are my favorite groups. But they especially, like, they cannot stand for you to say, I'm sorry. What are you sorry for? Like, they don't like that. They rather you just, hey, that sucked. You know, like, that's what I'd rather somebody just say this sucks.
Yeah, they'd rather be seen.
Yes,
than
that's really important.
In a way.
Yeah, and so many people, again, I lean back on my culture. My culture's huge on, like, hugging these kids and crying with them. And,
like, don't touch me.
You know, and these kids are like, really? Like, this is not what I want right now. Like, I just want to be left alone. And, you know, they come to you when they come to you. And I know we worry as parents, right? Like, you know, he's been in his room for, like, 3 hours. And I promise you, it is 1,000 times harder on us
Yes.
than it is on them.
That
Like,
brings me to a good question.
Yeah.
Like, what is, or a question that we had written down, which is like, what are some of the nonverbal cues that you look out for?
Yeah.
Because, right,
yeah,
sometimes
for sure.
kids get to this like very talkative stage, and then they get to a very quiet
Yes.
stage.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I feel like something that I and the listeners could probably benefit from is like, what are the nonverbal cues
Oh,
that you
for
think
sure.
should be good? to
So
look
when
out
we
for?
go to schools, we always tell them, grief is felt with your whole body, right? Grief is a multi-dimensional experience that you're having, right? You feel it intellectually, you feel it physically, emotionally.
Right.
So a lot of times in schools, you'll see those kids that have tummy aches and they're going to the nurse, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my stomach hurts, my head hurts, I'm just not feeling too good.
Right.
They can't really explain what it is that they're feeling, but those somatic symptoms are really important to look out for.
Right.
I think with teens, it's really important to make sure that they're not harming themselves.
Yeah, that's the most important part.
And letting them know, hey, I'm here whenever you want to talk. And you don't have to talk.
Right.
We could just sit together, listen to a song together. I find when we're laying parallel, where we're not looking eyeball to eyeball and just kind of being there, something will come out, right? For us, it's really difficult to sit in silence, but sometimes that's what they need.
Right.
They need that quiet. They're probably getting all their thoughts together.
To process.
They also worry about us.
Right.
They're like,
Right.
oh, how do I frame this in a way that's not going to make her cry? Or how do I say? So letting them know, in those moments where there's nothing going on, like, hey,
Right.
if you ever want to talk, it's fine. I might cry, but there's nothing wrong with me. It's just
Right.
grief coming out of my eyes, or I'm very lighthearted when I'm talking to my kids, so that they understand that even the heavy things,
Right.
I can sit here with you
Right.
through those heavy things.
Right.
So those somatic symptoms, not wanting to go anywhere, not wanting to go to school, those are all really normal things that happened. Outside of that, if you see that it's taking like way longer than what grief doesn't have a timeline. We know this, right? But if you feel like this is prolonged grief here, then talking to a pediatrician, talking to a counselor,
Right.
is always helpful. But looking out for those things, like do they have interest in the things that they used to have interest in? Some kids, maybe they played. I'm a huge sports fan, so maybe they played sports and now they're like, I don't really want to do
They
that.
don't want to do it.
Yeah.
You want to make, I always find that some folks fall into this pitfall, like, do it for them. I think that that's a big mistake, right?
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
if they fail, I'm failing them,
Right.
right? Do it for
Right.
you,
Right.
because that made you happy before,
Right.
and that's going to continue to make you happy now.
Right.
So I think that's really important.
So what are some of the myths? Because I know that we had like some myths, and I kind of want to throw some in there too.
Sure.
Like just about what do we get wrong with loss? Like what is it that we get wrong? Obviously, and we can intertwine that with children, but I just feel like there's so many myths and shoulds and stuff like that.
So many.
Yeah.
One of the biggest ones that I get is that children should not attend funerals.
Oh.
And I think that they should. I think just like you're getting that, there's no real closure, because
Sure.
I always say grief isn't linear. Grief is, something forever, something that you learn to grow with and kind of carry with you, like I said before. But they should be able to go, and it should be their choice, right? Because sometimes they get upset. I've had folks come to me and be like, my mom or my dad or my uncle, they didn't let me say goodbye, and now I'm mad, and I don't want to talk to this person ever again, and I'm never going to see them again, and you've robbed me of that. So letting them know what they're going to see, right? Listen, there's going to be if there's a coffin there, there's going to be a coffin there. The body's going to be there. They're not going to wake up. This is not a movie. This is
At the 0.001% chance.
Yeah. I was watching a documentary where they had like bells.
Yeah.
And my daughters were like, that is creepy.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
because
yeah,
they
well,
used to,
they didn't
bury
know.
people.
Bury people
They were
alive.
very sick, but they were still alive.
Yes.
And then they would have the little bell.
The bells
that
to
would
let them
ring.
know so that they can get unburied. But
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Yeah, like there was like
The
a string tied to them, and then the string would go up, and it like literally like next to like the plot.
Yeah.
And if you heard the bell, you would like go in and bury them.
Yeah, you would go unbury them because they were probably like unconscious or whatever.
they passed.
But like letting the child know, hey, they're not going to wake up. You can go as close or as far away as you want to. Like really giving them the choice.
Right.
Because it's really important. So much has been taken from them.
Right.
So give them the choice. Well, how do you want to do this? You know, for smaller children, I think it's important to have a plan. You know, my husband lost his grandmother a couple years ago, and I had the girls with me, and I did explain to them, like, this is what's going on, this is what's happening. If at any point you want to leave, have a point person, right? Like, okay, you're going to go to so-and-so, and they know the plan, and they're going to take you outside.
Got it.
If you have the opportunity to go the day before to kind of show them, like, this is what it's going to look like.
Or they usually do like 10 minutes before.
Yeah,
like
this is what it is. And always expect the unexpected. You know, your child might be like, yes, 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 and the day of like, nope. And that's okay. You know, don't pressure them. This is what they wanted. Yeah. You have to come say goodbye. No, let them have agency over what they want.
And funeral homes have different areas and things like that too.
Yeah,
like I remember with my sister, like my kids were kind of like hanging outside of the room and then would come in the room and then would kind of go back out. Yeah. And I think that I agree with you. I think kids should all go to funerals because also you're seeing how many people are there.
And you're celebrating the life.
And also like the thing is like sometimes you go to a funeral and you receive comfort from somebody in the family that you don't necessarily connect with often.
Yes.
But they'll remember that. Like they'll remember when their mom was crying, you know, that this aunt or this cousin came and gave them a hug or asked them about school or, you know, things like that. So I think it's kind of nice to say, hey, these people that are here, like you all of them understand what you're going through.
Exactly. Yeah. I think also another myth that I run into a lot are the 5 stages of grief.
Oh my gosh.
I love Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, but she did not make these stages for folks like us.
No.
She was working with grieving folks who were terminally ill people, rather, and she was kind of helping them go through that. So, yes, I love her. I think it's great, but there are no 5 stages of grief, right?
Well, David Kessler's getting away from that,
too. Yes.
That's why he's more focused on the 6th stage. I feel like.
Yeah,
like finding purpose.
Yeah,
finding purpose. Yeah. He's really big on that.
But yeah, there's no 5 stages of grief because some folks think like, all right, you know, here I did this, I did that.
I'm in denial.
Yeah. Why am I not over this person dying? Like, hello.
Yes.
And it's like, because there are no stages. Like, there's no stages, you know. One day you'll get up and you're like, oh, I feel great. The next day you get up and you're like, oh, I feel like crap. Like, this is what's going on. And, you know, when you look at the calendar or something, it might be the anniversary of, because your body knows, your body keeps score, as they say in that book. But that's another big myth that we get a lot of pushback about, and we're like, no, there's no stages, you know. I saw this meme. I think you guys might have posted it, where it's like what I thought my grief journey was going to be.
That was probably you.
And then it's like this like big mess.
Yeah. I think that was you.
Yeah. Grief comes in waves. Grief comes in waves. A perfume that you might smell, right? Or a song that you might hear, or food that you might taste, you know.
Yeah, literally.
And being ready for that.
Okay. Your hair.
My headphones are not what? Connected?
Yeah, take it off and put it back on.
What did I do?
Also, they might just be, like, push them in so they're a little shorter. Okay.
This one?
Yeah, there you go.
Martin, I broke it.
No.
Oh,
okay. Oh, and we're actually at 25, yeah. We're at 25, so still good time.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, so we can...
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
My head's too small. I got a little head. Sorry.
But so it's crazy that you say the perfume, because obviously it seems like, you definitely watched some of the episodes because the perfume with her sister.
Yes.
And then the song with my brother, like, really was like triggering to us. And, we actually got a lot of compliments on the triggering episode, like, what do we do and stuff like that. So, I really feel like, just even talking about children and just the myths of it and just all of that, I think it's amazing. Is there any other takeaways that you want to include?
Yeah, I want everyone to understand and know that kids are human just like we are, and we should allow them the space and, again, the agency to grieve how they want to grieve.
How they want to.
Right. Some children like to, play, pretend that the person is there, don't all of a sudden, be like, stop it.
Like getting creeped out.
Yeah, Well, it's funny because I have a cat who I swear has B's for brains, and he'll just be sitting, and then he'll like be looking up and looking everywhere, and I'm like, what do you see there, buddy? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on,
Yeah.
But kind of just letting them be, let them come to you, let them talk to you, and talk to them too. Hey, I'm here for you,
Right.
And another big thing that I do with my kids too is letting them know other people that they can talk to. Maybe they
Sure.
don't want to talk to me,
Yeah.
Maybe like, I don't know, maybe I said something that they didn't quite like. So it takes a village.
Maybe they're afraid of triggering you.
Yeah, and I always tell folks, especially my kids, like, there's a whole group of people outside of myself that you can talk to.
Sure.
Right? Like, there's more than us.
Right.
And just letting them be and letting them remember their person the way that works for them.
Wow. Thank you so much for this. And thank you for coming here. Of course. And, we're so appreciative. We just, we love Good Grief. And obviously follow Good Grief, New Jersey, right? Good Grief NJ on Instagram. They have a great website. They're in Morristown.
We're in Morristown and in Princeton. We're always looking for volunteers. Come on through.
There you go.
We have a facilitator training coming up.
There you go. Look at that. And go sign up for that. And then you also have the Grief Comadre. And
yes,
I
I'm
want
on
you
Instagram.
to follow her, to follow Annette. And then you can also follow us on YouTube, Spotify,
Instagram, TikTok,
Apple Podcasts,
MySpace.
No, right? Let's throw that in there. But I think what's really important for us too is it's not even so much like the likes, but just to be able to send it to someone who really needs it, because you just never know who's grieving and who really needs it. And we want to thank everyone for listening.
Thank you for
joining us. And we'll see you soon.